Budweiser has released a new advertisement as its parent company, Anheuser-Busch, struggles with anti-trans backlash.
Some conservatives have been calling for a boycott of the company after trans actress Dylan Mulvaney posted on social media a video of herself drinking a Bud Light from a customized can that the company sent her. In response to calls for a boycott and a drop in stock prices, Budweiser released this ad. As you can see, it features a signature Clydesdale horse galloping past symbolic Americana.
San Diego State University Associate Professor Nathian Rodriguez joins us now. His research focuses on minority representation in media. First of all, the CEO of Budweiser said in a statement that they never intended to be part of a discussion that divides people. I guess my first curiosity about this is how was the partnership, which happened in an ad on Dylan's personal social media, perceived as divisive, and why is Bud Light facing this controversy?
So I think it's important to really consider the time and space that this advertisement is taking place in. This isn't the first time that Bud Light has tied itself to the LGBTQ community. In fact, in 2016, Bud Light released a trans advertisement that ran across 20 networks. And at that time, Vice President Alex Lambrecht said that they celebrated and they rallied around bringing people together. There was no backlash around it. The advertisements and support for the LGBT community with Bud Light had began all the way back in 1995 with print advertisements, and they were giving donations to the LGBTQ community and AIDS-related research. So it's really important to think about what is happening right now in this specific time. And I really think it's really about white fragility and masculinity. And when you look at that Budweiser commercial, when you look at the commercials that have ran for Bud Light and beer across the spectrum, it's really about masculinity. And that's really deeply embedded, not just in the fabric of beer and Americana, but also in the GOP and the conservatives that are really leading the backlash about this commercial.
So I'm wondering, Nathan, what you make of Anheuser-Busch and Budweiser's strategy to not apologize, to explain we have lots of people that are on social media that we partner with, but then to release this ad, which also doesn't apologize, but really is much more traditional. Do you think that this is a good strategy for the company? Do you think that it does what it's trying to accomplish? And I guess it's sort of what even is it trying to accomplish?
Well, I don't think this is a strategy by the company. I think this is a strategy that the media is saying this is a strategy. These are two different brands, right? This is Bud Light and Budweiser. They both have the parent company of Anheuser-Busch. And if you look at Budweiser, Clydesdale and masculinity has always been its symbol, right? That's what it's done all the time. This happens to have come 2 weeks after this controversy. What does Budweiser need to apologize for something that Bud Light did? And what does Bud Light need to apologize for its marketing? Marketing with influencers is something that every single company is doing. And partnering with people all across the spectrum is something that they should be doing. There is no need to apologize for anything here. Nothing has been done that's wrong.
Right. That's what I was curious about. You know, is if you know when this ad was launched. I mean, of course, it takes time to produce a commercial.
This didn't happen in 24 hours.
Because if it is a coincidence, that's one thing. But if it is a response, it is a statement of what is American, of what is just. I'm very curious to know if it is a response and when it happened. Do you know?
So there is no response. I mean, the response that the CEO gave, Brendan Whitworth, was that, it's not a divisive company, and that's not what it is. The divisiveness is coming from the GOP. And I really think that the media is missing the mark here, right? Because really the attention is being focused on Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch as a brand. And there's really two brands at play here. And that's the GOP as a brand. And nobody is really focusing on what that brand is saying, right? Their brand, by aligning themselves with their policies and their candidates, is saying that that brand is anti-women, anti-LGBT, anti-immigration, anti-race, anti-gun. And nobody's speaking about that. All the attention is being given to Bud Light. And all Bud Light is doing what they've done for years and years, and partnering with a variety of people. This wasn't a national advertisement. This was a TikTok advertisement.
Exactly. Within the platform of an influencer, which, I mean, I see all day long. Everyone I follow that's famous does some kind of sponsored ad. That's why I was curious about where the controversy came from. This is not that that, you know, Dylan's face is on every can of Bud Light, and it is an ad in her own social media. So
well, but also, Nathan, it's not everybody in the GOP that has come out against this or is part of this boycott. But still, well, I want to ask you. I want to ask you though about the impact that it has for other companies, because to Lilia's point, having these types of sponsorships, the idea that America is made up of all different types of people. Do you worry, given your position in scrutinizing advertisements, media, and different groups placed within the United States, that this is going to make for companies to be less likely to partner with somebody that?
Or is that the goal? Or is that the goal of this whole, you know, outrage campaign around it?
I mean, I think it's very much something that you can't say specifically to the companies, right? Again, think about when this is occurring.
Not the company, for the people criticizing
in a vacuum, right? It happens in a 2023, which is right before a huge election in a socio-political atmosphere that is being charged by the GOP, right? When you say this isn't everyone in the GOP, these are the most key players. These are the Ron DeSantis, the Donald Trump, the Trump Jr.'s, the people that are running for the presidential candidacy, right? Those are the ones that are charging this. These are also people that are coming on and putting the charge into this. So when companies make the decision on what they need to do, they're trying to do what they've been doing forever, is make money. This is all about
it's not on Budweiser. Right. What I mean is the people who were outraged by it. Thank you so much, Nathian Rodriguez. We could be talking about this all day.